Previously on the Frontier Farmer. Good news is that our 2 calves are now born, and we can see our lovely orange sorghum that's ready to harvest. There we go, fired back into life, and get on in and start harvesting. And I'm now sat at 81%, and we've got a full trailer that we can then unload directly into the silo. And that is us, all mulched. Fantastic. So yeah, let's get this manure spread and then we can get on to drilling. And in goes our wheat, and then we'll move straight on to the barley and then straight on to canola. And that's our 3 fields drilled. We're going to have some weeding come up next time because we didn't do any ploughing, which is fine. Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Frontier Farmer at the Dark Forest. We're now in October, and autumn has well and truly kicked in. We have got the dimming light levels, so we're having to start slightly later in the morning, and we'll have shorter days. As you can see, our burr field has germinated. This field has our wheat in, and round here, field number 4, which has got our barley, and then field number 3 ahead in the distance. This has got barley and canola. And what you'll notice about these 2 is they are absolutely rife with weeds. If we hop out of the tractor, you can see that they are very much in abundance, and yeah, they're scattered all over, but seemingly more so in field number 3. They are quite strong in this field. So potentially we are going to have to get the sprayer out for field number 3 and make use of the herbicide, whereas in the other 2 fields we might get away with using the hoe. But yep, we'll see how it goes. We might as well make use of the herbicide whilst we have it. But the first job this morning is getting some TMR to our cows. But I've had a bit of a balmy idea, and that's because we have a silage bunker here, which is kind of in the way now we've expanded. And we've got 40,000 litres of silage in there, which I don't really want to waste. So we need to put it somewhere, and I've had a wacky idea to buy a set of auger wagons which is going to help us store it. So we're going to head over to the distribution centre first of all and buy some auger wagons. Now the poor International is starting to look a little bit scuffed and battered. You can see the paintwork is scratched in places, so we may have to repaint this at some point over winter, give it a bit of a touch up. And we've got a bit of practice in painting now that we... Oh, look out dear. Yeah, we've got a bit of practice in painting now that we changed our Fortrit header trailer from a blue to a red. So that is pretty handy. Right, we are here. Let us buy some auger wagons. So, cousin to our grain trailer and our bale trailer, we have the BSS P93S auger wagon. And this can take 11,400 litres of whichever product you're going to put in here, and it's only just shy of $4,000. So I was thinking, rather than having a fixed storage for our silage, we could buy 3 auger wagons for just shy of $12,000, and once we've used the silage we can then use this to store seed or any other crops that we've got, and it might come in handy. So I'm going to buy 3 of these. I've labelled the first one 1, And we got number 2. And number 3. So we have all our auger wagons stacked up next to each other. And I've bought 3 because that is going to enable us to completely empty that silage bunker. And for 12,000, I don't think that's too bad a price. Right, now comes the challenge of me getting these all parked up in close proximity so I can hitch them all together in one auger wagon train. Right, I've had to give the last one a little bit of motivation, but we've got them all hitched together now. So we have a auger wagon train, 1, 2 and 3 carriages. So let's head back to the homestead and we can see about getting our silage loaded into these. Not every day you see a trailer train coming through the dark forest, but we've made it back, thankfully. And good that we've got the International. It's a nice beefy tractor to pull a heavy load, and this will be probably very heavy once we've got it all loaded up. So let's get it positioned somewhere reasonable so we can get the wheel loader involved to load all of these up. Right, I think that should do it. So we want the wheel loader with the bucket. Trusty Volvo. It is a very helpful machine on the homestead. So we'll grab the bucket and then we can start loading up our silage. And the auger wagons are going to be very handy because it will mean we can just pull up to it with the mixing wagon and take as much silage as we need. Okay, so we can set about loading. Each trailer is going to take just under 3 bucket loads because it's 4,000 litres per bucket. So I'm going to get loading and I'll see you when we're finished. Well, I have loaded the 3 auger wagons to the best of my ability, but for some reason I cannot, for the life of me, scrape the layer of silage that is at the bottom of the silage bunker. Let's take a little look at how much we've got left in here. I think it's a fair amount. Yep, 6,920 litres. So I don't know if it's the bucket just not having the angle to pick it up properly from the bottom, or if it's stuck solid, but we may have to call in the small guns, i.e. the skid loader, and get a smaller bucket to just scrape off the bottom layer. If we take a little look in here, should hopefully see that we are 95% full, so it's just the number 3 trailer at the back which needs some additional. So we are in the skid steer, and we'll drop off the bale fork and see about finding either a bucket or a silage fork that's going to help us pick up the rest of that silage. Now there is this Massey Ferguson universal bucket that can take 2,000 litres, and it's only $1,000, so we can buy that. There we go, bucket attached. Hopefully we're going to be able to reach the top of the auger wagon. Right, we've made it back. Hopefully this is going to work. We could have got a silage fork for the skid steer, but a bucket is probably more versatile. So let's see, hopefully we're going to be able to load this a darn sight easier than our wheel loader. It might be because of the lip that's there. Okay, yeah, we seem to be loading this a little bit easier, which is good. Right, so let's finish off loading this in. I will load as much as I can into the auger wagon, and then when we're full we can load it straight into the mixing wagon. Alright, that is full, so it's just for the mixing wagon, and I want to be loading 4,000 litres so we get the ratio of silage and hay and straw correct for our total mixed ration. So let's just top up this bucket load. 100%, 2,000. Actually it says 2,006 litres, but that's pretty negligible. So we want 2 of these. That's 1. Right, a bit of sloppy loading, but it's in there. And the main cause of issue seems to be silage that is stuck to the bottom of the bunker, and it might be just because of how long it's been stored there. We have had it there for probably over a year now, so that is why. Right, I'm going to park up the Massey, and I think we are going to leave whatever the remnants are of that silage in the bunker. So there's only 1,400 litres odd of silage in here, so we're not going to be making much use of that. It's pretty negligible. So I'm now going to knock down the silage bunker. It's already fairly battered because we've been hitting it with the shovel, and we'll be away with it. And there we go. There is merely a concrete base left of where the silage bunker was, and we can look to place an even better one in the future, one that's going to be a bit out of the way and better to store. But I'm happy that our auger wagons are going to store the silage pretty well, so let's get them parked up somewhere suitable. Here we go, the silage road train. And I've just taken a whistle stop tour to the garage to get the covers fitted on all 3 of these. And we've got them covered up now, which is pretty handy. Hopefully we can make this tight bend. Sometimes the dolly trailers are a little bit more negotiable for corners because the dolly can bend quite far, but they are certainly not very easy to reverse. But yeah, we've got the covers on now, so that's going to keep the silage well protected when we store it up, I think just past the dovecot over here. Right, so we tend not to drive in this area too much, so we can deposit our auger wagons here, and our nice little silage convoy can be stored there for us to come and top up from when we need to. But let's get back onto the mixing wagon, and we can go fetch some hay and some straw, and then we should have our first batch of TMR. There we go, 4,000 litres, the perfect amount that we needed. I'll have to come back and switch the beacons off on the wheel loader and skid steer. We don't want to run the battery down. Shortcut through the animal farm over to the hay loft, where we can pick up our straw and our hay. And we'll get hay first because straw is just the filler of the TMR mix. My oh my, you can really see the weeds from this angle. Right, let's see about fetching some hay. Okay, so I've got another 4,000 litres of hay, so that should make a good ratio. And if we look at the marker, yep, we're in the green for both, 50% and 49%. So we just need some straw now. There we go. I think we've maxed out the amount of straw that we can put in. And to be honest, straw is probably the thing we have the least of. So I don't really want to be using too much straw in future total mixed rations. We've got plenty of silage and hay, so I'm happy we have a silage and hay rich total mixed ration. Right, let's loop back round and we can give this to the cows. Right, we've turned on the mixer, so we're giving it a good stir before we give it to the cows. And we can unload for them here. And they should take a good amount because they've depleted the hay, and now we have 4 cows. They're doing a grand job of eating. Right, so we've used only a small portion, but the mixing wagon with the silage, hay and straw making TMR can stay there for now. That's perfect. And I think next job is we are going to journey over back to the wheel loader, and we're going to load up some wood chips to take for sale. We can plop the International in this shed for now, and we'll hop in the truck because we'll need the trailer. So in the old IFA with the trailer attached. Yeah, that's good. So let's see about loading up some wood chips. We've made it to the wood chip sell point, and you'll notice I upgraded the trailer so we can carry more wood chips and other items. And I think all we need to do is back up to the part of the wood chip sell point here and get these all sold. Hopefully it'll take them all and we'll get a good price. $19,913, so just shy of 20,000. Not too bad for something that's a byproduct from all of our sawmill activities. Right, let's get back, park the trailer up, and this afternoon is going to be dealing with all those weeds. Now, another quiet hero of the homestead is this IFA truck. It's only a small horsepower truck, but if you recall, it's definitely carted some very heavy log trailers to the distribution centre for us. And yeah, it's pretty capable for a very small machine. If you look at the cab, it's actually got a very thin cab, not much space for a very powerful big engine. So I think it's done pretty well on the homestead so far. But at some stage we might have to look at upgrading the truck to one that's more powerful and more versatile, potentially. Have a couple of ideas. If you've got any trucks in mind, then let me know. Finally, turn the beacon off on the skid steer. We don't want that running out of battery. Bang on 12 o'clock, and we'll jump in the farmwall. And I think the first machine we are going to grab is the sprayer. And we're going to see to the fields in reverse order to what we drilled them in. So we'll start with field number 3 near the hayloft, and that has the most weeds in, so it makes sense that we use the sprayer for that. I think there's probably some herbicide left in there. We'll take a look. There we go, 55% herbicide in there. So let's go top that up, and as mentioned, we have purchased the herbicide, so I'm not adverse to making use of it. No point it just sitting there unused. So yeah, if we can use it, we will. And that might make the job of weeding a little bit quicker this time round. It's the green barrels we want. So let's back up and refill. And we don't have any modern see and spray, so it is just spraying constantly. Have to get the mix right and ensure that we don't over herbicide our crops and damage them. I think we'll probably start on the top side up here and get cracking. But I'll see how much I can get sprayed with the herbicide we've got, and then we may have to revert to the hoe. Let's get unfolded. Let's check our widths are okay, and of course we're clear to drive through the crops because they're only on the first stage of growth. We're not going to damage them at this stage. So let's head on in, turn our sprayer on, and yes, we are zapping all those weeds. That is what we want. So I'm going to see to all this spraying, and I'll catch you when we've made some good progress. And there we go, that's all the rows finished. I think there is just a slither over here that I missed when I was awkwardly doing one of the rows. I couldn't quite see where I had and hadn't been. So there is a strip down here which we will see to. That's not too much of a problem. And you can really see just how prevalent the weeds were in field 4 and field 3. There's the grey shadows of where the weeds used to be, but luckily they are all zapped thanks to our sprayer and the herbicide. So that's not too shabby. We can get the sprayer folded up now, and I think we're just going to use the hoe for Burfield because the weeds were not too prevalent in there, and I think that's the first time we are weeding that field, so it'd be nice to use the hoe. You can see rain is on the forecast, so I'm hoping to try and wrap up today before that rain hits. Don't want to get caught in the wet on the farm with no cab. And yeah, we want to use the farm because weeding is one of the jobs that the farm can do, and use the International to pull the heavy silage train this morning, so we will carry on using the farm. I want to lower it, thank you very much, and drop it off so we can maintain access to our John Deere weed hoe, and then we can head over to Burfield. We might see Tim, although he's probably finished his lunch and is back to it in the sawmill. He likes to keep himself very busy. Right, we've got the weeder, so let's head on back over there. And a good opportunity for me to talk about winter projects. Now, I've heard from the local Forestry Commission, and in coordination with the distribution centre, they have talked very much about doing some sort of forestry to clear space for a potential small settlement and they've been in touch to see if we could help them out. So it's something I'm very much considering. It would involve us potentially getting some more advanced forestry equipment and clearing a section of the forest to help build some more log cabins and places for people to live and make a small settlement in the forest. So yeah, let me know your thoughts. I'm in two minds about whether to do it, but we will see. So if you've got any ideas or think it's a good opportunity, then let me know. I am going to be lowering the weeder, and as you can see, the weeds are not as present in Burfield, so the weeder hoe will just do the job for us. Might be a bit tricky to see where we have and haven't been, but I'll try and make sure we've got some good coverage. So I'm going to see to this, and I'll catch you when we're finished. Okay, so I think I'm done with the weeding. It's always a tricky job, and I think I can only really see when I'm driving in this direction because of the sunlight, and it seems to highlight the weeds a little bit easier. It's absolutely impossible and invisible to see them going the other way. It's a bit of guesswork as to where I've been and where I haven't been, and choosing lines to drive on. But I'm hopeful that when we inspect the map, we are going to see a field that is clear of weeds. Let's take a look. Oh, I tell you what, that is very, very close indeed. I think there's just this tiny little line here, which I haven't weeded, but that's pretty negligible, so I'm going to leave that. But in field 3 and 4, you can see the brown where all the weeds have been destroyed. So that is pretty good. So we are near enough weed free, and that leaves our 3 fields with wheats, barley and canola to grow nice and freely through the winter and into the new year, when hopefully we'll have a good harvest. They should have the best chance because they've got secondary fertilizer, they've been weeded, and we also mulched the fields before we drilled, so they should have a 100% yield bonus. Weeder and sprayer back in position, and we can also park the farm all back in its usual position over in front of our logging winch, and we might have to drag that out again at some point if we're going to be working on this new forestry area to set up a settlement. All sounds very exciting, so yeah, I'm still mulling it over, but I'm keen to hear your thoughts on whether we should take on that opportunity to work for the Forestry Commission and potentially get our hands on using some modern forestry equipment and help clear the forest for a new settlement. All very exciting. Right, I want to just quickly check on the pigs, because I think our little piglets have been born, and I think it's definitely the case because the numbers have increased somewhat. Yes, so we most certainly have had some new piglets. We've got 3 here, which are $100 each. You can tell they're the newest because they are the cheapest, and they are 0% through puberty, so they are fresh. Our next youngest 3 are 16% through puberty, and I think, yep, we've got another set of 3 that are 83% through puberty. So these should start to reproduce soon. And then I think we've got 2 sets which are reproducing now. So yes, I think they reproduce 25% per month. So yeah, every 4 months we could be getting our hands on another 6 pigs, which means we're going to grow quite fast and we'll be able to sell some pigs soon. But it does mean that our consumption of pig food is going to go up. So I think I need to top up the base food, grain, protein and root crops a little bit. So I think corn is a base food. We've got a little bit of a pallet here, so we can give that to them over here. I think 1 more corn to get it up to 50%. Here are the soybeans just behind the AMT. I'm clambering over it. Oh, I'm actually tipping it in the AMT by mistake. That is a shame. And yeah, I think it's only going to deposit that amount in, 814 litres. So that must not have been a full pallet, but at least we can use the AMT to deposit into the pig farm. After all, that's what we benefit from, finding the AMT and using it on the farm. And there we go, soybeans all in there. That might be more than 20%, but never mind, it will keep them well fed nonetheless. Okay, so it topped the protein up a little bit, and I think everything's looking pretty good, to be honest, in terms of the ratio of food, and we've got plenty in storage, so that's good news. And also in terms of storage, we've got plenty of hay, we've got some grass bales in the shed behind, and then we've got a hay loft near enough full of hay as well. And yes, we're making wool pretty speedily now that we've got more sheep, and that will only increase. Same with our egg production as well, and milk. But that is it for today. It's been a busy one. We got all of our silage stored into a new silage train of auger wagons. Did a batch of TMR for our cows, and then we got all 3 fields weeded successfully, 2 with the sprayer and 1 with the hoe. And yep, I'm going to grab a cup of tea and continue to mull over whether we should help out the Forestry Commission with their project over winter to create a settlement. But yeah, I'll be interested to hear your thoughts. Hope you've enjoyed watching. If you have, remember to drop a like and subscribe if you haven't. And all there's left to say is, I hope to see you again next time on The Frontier Farmer. And until then, I'll catch you later. Cheers all, and bye bye.